I don't know if we can call this a decent game. I don't know if we can call this a decent result. I don't know if we can call this a hard-earned victory. Because to be honest with you, I don't feel like we just won a game. There are so many things I have to talk about this Barcelona team. I have to give feedback on, not exactly critique, because that's completely different. But there are some things I need to talk about because the performance today we saw in the Real Valladolid stadium was not up to scratch. It wasn't the performance of a champions, and it's certainly not the performance that a Barcelona team should give. What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? BugaLuis here. Welcome back to another video here on the channel. And obviously here we cover a lot of match previews, match reactions, and football discussion videos, which you can suggest a topic of them to my Instagram and also using other social media. So if you're new and you're interested, well, perhaps subscribe so you don't miss anything of the content that we upload here on this channel. But right away, let's move on to the match reaction, which all of you are very, very excited for. So before we talk about the match, before we talk about the footballing aspect of this game, I have to talk about the pitch. The pitch today was horrendous. It was absolutely terrible. It was really, really bad. And before anybody can say, oh, you're making excuses, oh, you're just crying or whatever, first of all, I cannot make excuses out of a victory. Like, we won, so there's no way for me to make excuses. Like, I don't even need to do that. So just shut up if you think that. But I'm talking about this because is something that is really not fair, and it's a value, is a variable that can be controlled. I don't know if you have ever studied science on your school, whatever. You have independent variables and then you have like dependent variables. This is an independent variable. This is a controlled variable. You can have it like whenever you can. When you can say, for instance, the pitch must be at this level of like status, at this level of quality, and then a game must be played. And that is something that really needs to be implemented in La Liga or any single competition by that manner. Because today we saw how that pitch, which was horrendous, it was so bad. It was like something you could see in a high school, not even a high school. Like, I'm telling you, like a bad high school. It was horrendous. It didn't help at all for our Barcelona side, because obviously our style of football is very possession wise, is very short passing and very, very quick moving as well. And you cannot do that by having a pitch like this. You cannot calculate exactly the precise power you want to put into it, because then the ball just keeps rolling and touches on a ditch and it completely goes the other direction. So it's something that needs to be improved. There's no way we can be playing with this quality of pitch right now. Like, I recall a moment, for instance, a chance Real Valladolid got because Sergio Roberto had the ball and he just fell because it was like this a hole in the pitch. Like, that's not quality football. Like, I know football can be played like whenever you can. That's the reason why this sport is the best, because you don't even need a ball to play this. You don't even need a ball to play this sport. You can play it whenever you want. But the thing is that this is like top tier competition, you know? So if you want to treat this as the best league in the world, you want to treat this as the pinnacle of footballing quality in the world, you have to show that by having like a good stadium, a good pitch, a solid quality. There's no way we can be doing this anymore. But now onto the actual football. I have to say that I was really surprised with the start of Real Valladolid. Like, to be completely honest with you guys, I said on my preview, and even Valverde said in press conference, that we are expecting a team which are going to be a big solid unit that are gonna stay back and really see how the match is going and attack when they have the chance. But Real Valladolid did completely the opposite. They were a solid unit, yes, but they pressured very, very hard, and their attack was very high up. Like, this caught Barcelona off guard completely, and to be honest with you, it just seemed like a boxing match. I don't know if, for instance, you know today, but today was the boxing match between like KSI and Logan Paul, if you know who they are. And that happened like simultaneously at the start of the match as Barcelona. And I was just like thinking about box when I was watching this game, and there's a lot of things we can like talk about it. Because, for instance, you may be preparing for an opponent. Imagine this time around, I don't know, we're like KSI and we're working towards Logan Paul, and we say, okay, he's gonna play this way, he's gonna play this way. The same with Barcelona. Valverde may be saying the other guys the guys in training, like, but Real Valladolid are gonna completely defend, they're gonna do this, and you just think into that game plan. But as soon as your opponent throws something like out the window and he does something completely different, you are left unsettled. And that happened to Barcelona today. We looked like a boxer who didn't know exactly how to get back into the fight, because we just left like there to stumble. We didn't even know exactly what to do. It took us 10 minutes to get back into the game because right now the passes from Piqué, Rakitic, Messi, Suarez, the whole team was completely like, what? Because Real Valladolid put so much intensity into those first 10 minutes and we left completely unguarded. And to be honest with you, that looked really bad onto us. And I was scary because what was going to happen? I was really scary. But the first thing about this is that I want to comment also on Coutinho because Coutinho took a longer time to get back into the game and he never really like fulfilled and got back into his normal self. I gotta say that the game for Coutinho was like a 4, a 5 because the very first 10 minutes it was horrible. It was like a 2. He was taking a corner and you could just see how like uneasy he was and he just shoot the ball like something really weird. He just like pointed up right into the sky and didn't even fall into the pitch. It just didn't make any sense. So Coutinho, to be honest, he had a very bad match and it took him a long time to even try and get back into the game. Like for the first 10 minutes he was lost and the next 10 minutes also in total 20 minutes then he just started to get back into it. But it was really weird to see because once again I always been saying how good Coutinho is into getting into the game, getting his head ready, but here he just completely disappeared. I thought but thankfully, he then came back and did some passes, but never really to the level we all expect of somebody like Coutinho. But in this moment, for instance, in this like shake-up for the very first 20 minutes, I want to call it the shake-up, this period of time at the start of the game. The only player which I thought was completely like continuous and had a very good consistency throughout the first half was somebody like Dembélé. Dembélé really looked fine. He really looked accustomed to that left wing, and then whenever he drifted centrally he also looked very comfortable. So very good on Dembélé because being this lad who had all the pressure and stuff like that, he looked like the guy who has played in Barcelona the longer in this team for the very first 20 minutes. He really looked like set and knew exactly what to do. So kudos to Dembélé. And I have to pinpoint 2 players from Real Valladolid in this one. I gotta pinpoint Enes Unal, which if you have followed us for a very long time now, I'm talking about at least a year ago you were a subscriber, you would know that I love this guy in Villarreal in the career mode. He was absolutely insane. And I utilized him in-game like Real Valladolid utilized him today. They used him as a main pillar, as a guy who was able to redirection the attack for a counter-attack. I don't know if that makes any sense, but normally if you pass the ball to this guy, he's going to be like the poke, he's going to be like the target man. And then somebody like Tony Villa, which for me is in the podium right away, which I'm going to talk more of it later on. This guy was just completely superb. Like the pace he had, the dribbling he had, and most importantly, the intelligence up here to read Sergio Roberto was very good to see. So I gotta say that guy Tony Villa is gonna go to the podium, and the podium is going to be this thing where I rank the 3 best players of the game basically at the end of the match reaction. It's a podium, you know, so you have the 3rd best player, the 2nd, and then obviously the 1st. So we're gonna do that later on, and I'm gonna tell you right now that Tony Villa is gonna be there because he had an amazing, a cracker of a game. He was really good. And then, well, we saw a Barcelona side which already entered control. The next 20 minutes allowed us to get into the game. We had a little bit more of possession. I think we ended the first half with around like 75% possession and only them having a 25. So that's a good thing. But we never really got into stride, you understand? We never really had those clear-cut chances. And our best chance, to be honest, or mainly our only chance, came from the goal in the second half from Dembélé, which was a decent goal, was good. It was a collective goal, which was very impressive. And the main thing I want to talk about this goal is obviously Dembélé is good getting a goal, the confidence, the boost. It's really showing because, like I said, the best player today in the pitch for me was Dembélé. Not because he was like stellar or he was wonderful, whatever, but he just was consistent all around. He knew exactly what he wanted to do, even though he lost some balls. He stick to it and he really played for what he's known for. So good on Dembélé. I think he had a good match. But the thing I want to talk about this goal is Luis Suarez, because people are gonna say like, okay, we need to drop Luis Suarez. I was reading some of you saying that the best option for Luis Suarez should be the bench, trying to give Luis Suarez that chance to really think of himself and what he needs to do to improve. But there isn't anybody that can give us what Luis Suarez has done us in this game. Luis Suarez is not only a goal scorer. Luis Suarez is so much more than that. He passed the ball from the other side of the play all the way here. And he's a striker. Strikers are not supposed to do that. His position is also not the same. He passes, everything he does that create chances is not normal for a striker. So even if we dropped out Luis Suarez, even if we take him out and put somebody like Munir in, do you really think Munir is going to be able to do that? Do you really think Munir is at that level? That's why Luis Suarez is here and most of all the other strikers are around here. That's why there are like top 5 strikers in the world. They're not like 20, you know? So that's the thing what separates Suarez from the rest. That's why we have selected him to be our striker for Barcelona. It's not easy. Think about somebody who can replace him. I think the only guy who could replace Suarez right now in this Barcelona side are obviously Griezmann, but he's staying at Atletico, and Roberto Firmino. I really think those are the 2 best strikers that could replace Suarez right now in Barcelona, because the game that he has completely is just not easy to come by. So we have to focus on that. He's so much more than just goals. So that's a very good example of what he did today. And I don't know if to say this goal was a good thing or a bad thing, because after that goal, Barcelona just looked settled. Barcelona were just like, okay, you know what, that I'm done for the day. I'm really done for the day. We really stopped looking for chances. We really stopped trying to play for every ball. And slowly but surely, Real Valladolid came back into the game and was the team which actually was imposing in the pitch, which is absolutely insane. We're the team with the highest funds in La Liga, and we're playing against the team with the lowest funds in La Liga. And they are still managing to like control and dominate the game. We're surely doing it. Like Barcelona never really hit after that, never really hit the goal. And it's really worrying, because this is a problem not with our like style or like finishing or whatever. It's a problem up here. It's a problem with attitude and character. And that's the hardest thing to change in a team. If we continue to do this, we're not going to have a lucky chance like we had today with the VAR. We just got saved by the neck, I'm telling you. We were scraped through and we could almost have drawn this game. And we're very, very lucky we didn't. We're very, very lucky we didn't. And to be honest with you, I cannot disagree with the Real Valladolid not equalizing, because they should have deserved it. Barcelona let them draw. We really let them. We opened up the gates and we gave them every argument, every single confidence, every single reason to draw this game, because we weren't clinical. We weren't clinical. We weren't focused, but most importantly, we didn't have the character to continue into the game, because one goal, like I said, I always say it, one goal is not a big margin. 2 goals is not even a big margin also. But 1 goal is nothing. So we needed to improve on that. And that's the thing, the main critic I have for this Barcelona side today. We needed to continue with the attitude, because the intensity wasn't there, and we need to improve this. It's a decent result. It is a decent result, but it's not good enough. So to start wrapping this up, I gotta say that the podium for today's game is a little bit difficult to make, because to be honest with you, I don't think there are too many players that are above a 6. Like for Barcelona, the only players that are above a 6 from here are like Ter Stegen and Dembélé, and that's it. Like Messi didn't have an awesome game. Suarez didn't have an awesome game either. People like Coutinho had a very bad game. Rakitic were also kind of like invisible. The same with Piqué, Umtiti, Jordi Alba, Roberto. So it was hard to put Barcelona players into this. So I'm going to go as follows. In the 3rd position, I'm going to go with Jordi Masip. An ex-Barcelona player gets the spot, because I really think he was the reason why perhaps we weren't able to, in the first half when we had the most possession, we weren't able to concrete our chances, because he just looked so solid and he had some clear-cut decisions, and whenever decision he took, he really stick to it. And that's very difficult for a goalkeeper, that he's playing against the team which basically kicked him, you know, because he has been at Barcelona for I don't know how many years. He's 26 now, and he's always been a 3rd choice goalkeeper. So it must be kind of like some food for thought for Jordi Masip up here. But he did incredibly well, so we have to give credit where it's due. Ter Stegen also saved us time and time again. I want to put him here as well, but I'm just putting Masip on for the banters, really, because I think Masip also equally deserves a chance after Stegen. So I'm going to go with Masip. The second, I'm going to go with Toni Villa. Like I said, Toni Villa, very fast, a player which had a lot of pace to it, had just so much flair into the attack of Real Valladolid. And like I said, very, very direct. And even though sometimes he got lucky with some few dribbles and stuff like that, he always put some pressure onto us and always make us stand on our feet. And Piqué, and most importantly, Sergio Roberto, never were confident with their ability, because this guy was putting in pressure very, very hard. And now the first position, I'm gonna give it to Ousmane Dembele. I think that Dembele was the best out of a very, very, I don't want to say mediocre, but a very, very lackluster Barcelona performance today. He was the best out of the worst. It's not bad because we didn't play like awful, but we could have been so much better. And in the case with Dembele, he was, like I said, once again, the most consistent. He always looked like he understood his role, and he was playing like on a league of his own. Mentally, he was in the game from the first to the last minute he was substituted. And to be honest with you, I would have kept him for a little bit longer, because as soon as we win Arturo Vidal, we just like settled in for it more. We really settled with Arturo Vidal. I would have, if I wanted to take out Dembele, I would have bring on Malcolm, just to keep showing Real Valladolid that we're still in the game, that we're still looking for the goal. Arturo Vidal was a weird substitute today because we weren't looking for the goal. If we were looking for the goal, we were 1-0, I understand. But when we were 1-0 up, we don't need to save the result, like I said, because we are never a team to go and really play for a result. You know, we go and play for the win. And I just didn't like that. And Ousmane Dembele, like I said, once again, was the best. So I'm going to give Dembele first, second, like I said, Toni Villa, and third, Jordi Masip. That's going to be everything for today, guys. So if you have enjoyed, please remember to drop us a like and leave us a subscribe. Tell me down below your podium. Tell me your 3 best players of this game. Tell me anything else you want to comment on, any arguments, anything that I've missed in this game that you want me to comment about. And once again, for the banters, did you watch that KSI versus Logan Paul? I cannot believe I actually paid to watch that, but it was good. Like, it was actually kind of entertaining for what it's worth. It was a very decent boxing match. But yeah, what did you think of everything? And see you in the next one. Take care. Ciao.